All right. So thank you, everyone. Welcome to today's Earth District Speaker Series, and thank you for joining us. I'll be your host and moderator for the day. I'm Wenzi. I'm the Associate Director of Sustainable Transportation and Transit Research at Centennial College. I established a Transit Innovation Hub that allows transit agencies to test and evaluate emerging technologies before deployment so they can de-risk innovation and capital investments. I also chair the academic committee at the Canadian Urban Transit Research and Innovation Consortium. I think to start the 2026 as with a topic on transportation and mobility is just the right timing. In December of 25, at the United Nations headquarters, governments, transport leaders, and development partners gathered to launch the first United Nations Decade of Sustainable Transport. So this is 2026 to 2035. This is a milestone moment that is designed to essentially transform how people move, how goods flow, and how societies connect. So thank you, Earth District, for inviting us. Um, I will start with the land acknowledgement. What you see in the picture is the beautiful basket room at our Progress campus. So I'm joining you today from Centennial's Progress campus. Centennial College is proud to be part of a rich history of education in this province and in the city. We acknowledge that we own the treaty lands and territory of the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation, and we pay tribute to their legacy and the legacy of all First Peoples of Canada as we strengthen ties with communities we serve and build the future through learning and through our graduates. Today, the traditional meeting place of Toronto is still home to many Indigenous peoples from across Turtle Island, and we are grateful for the opportunity to work in the communities we have grown on the treaty lands of the Mississaugas. We acknowledge that we are all treaty people and accept our responsibility to honor all our relations. We recognize that you may be joining us from many different geographical locations. Use the link provided in the chat. We encourage you to learn whose traditional lands you are on. So again, thank you, everybody. Earth District is a 5-institution consortium of universities and colleges committed to developing the sustainable technology sector in the Eastern Greater Toronto Area and beyond. In the heart of the Eastern Greater Toronto Area, Earth District, or the Environmental and Related Technologies Hub, stands boldly as a catalyst for sustainable innovation and collaborative change. This speaker series ran through 2025 virtually and was led by each of the Earth District's members: Centennial College, Fleming College, Ontario Tech University, Trent University, and the University of Toronto Scarborough. The Earth District Speaker Series is a dynamic forum designed to showcase innovative ideas, foster collaboration, and highlight the expertise within our community. We hope you enjoy today's session and join future ones. The series will continue into 2026, and our next session will be on March 24th. So before we start the presentation, I would like to begin with a few housekeeping items. Teams has a closed captioning feature. If you would like to utilize it, please click on the More tab at the top, slide down to Language and Speech, and click Show Live Captions. Please note that we will be recording this session, and later you can find it on the Earth District website under Events. Lastly, please use the chat function for general comments and networking, and the Q&A box specifically if you have questions for the speakers. This series is a forum to network with colleagues across institutions. We encourage you to connect via the chat or after the event. So now back to transportation. Let me just switch the slides. You know, if you think about transportation and mobility at its core, it's really about connecting people to opportunity, goods to markets, communities to one another, and removing barriers. We often describe transportation as, some rapidly evolving sector, and in many ways it is. You have headlines about autonomous vehicles, artificial intelligence, smart mobility solutions advancing at remarkable speed and promising really a revolution in the way we move people and goods. But if you step back and you look at history, the picture is a bit more nuanced. And on one side, you see these pockets of rapid innovation with new technologies, advanced vehicle, data-driven systems that are evolving really at an extraordinary pace. And on the other side, you see some components in the system that move a lot slower. Consider public transit, for example. The primary concern of public transit is safety and reliability. As a result, the industry is fairly risk averse, and it's often constrained by either legacy infrastructure, limited funding, planning frameworks that are just built for another era. And so innovation does not find itself a way kind of easily into those systems. And if electrification, for example, appears to you as a sudden revolution, the first electric carriage appeared almost 200 years ago in the early 19th century. So it's long before internal combustion engines even became dominant on the roads. And so it comes to say that real transformation and innovation in transportation is rarely instantaneous. And so changes will happen over time, and they depend on economics, they depend on public trust, on infrastructure, and finally, they depend even on policy. And so transportation policy, I mean the good ones, does a bit more than chase new technologies and the shiny objects. It really needs to create the conditions for innovations and the conditions for innovation to scale responsibly over time. Of course, this comes with sustained infrastructure investment, with regulatory frameworks that are malleable and can adapt as those technologies mature. And most importantly, I think transportation is always human-centered or people-centered. So when you improve transport systems, you really have a direct impact on people's lives. And so the opportunity for innovation is massive, but so is the complexity. And so every facet of the economy really converges on transportation. We consider it the engine of trade and productivity, but it also mirrors or reflects our societal priority. It really shapes who can access the jobs, who can access education, and how healthcare, community life. It really influences equity, inclusion. It stands for public health and environmental outcomes. And therefore, when you design transportation policy or when you innovate in transportation, it's not just an economic policy, it is a social policy, it is a climate policy as well. Toronto as a city, and we are quite lucky to be in it, it's really a hotbed for transportation innovation. The city itself, it's the fastest growing metropolis in Canada and the US. The city regulates and manages over 5,500 kilometers of public roads, almost 8,000 kilometers of sidewalks, and through the Toronto Transit Commission, it operates North America's third largest transit system. So congestion, apparently, in 2024 has cost us 10 billion in lost productivity and 34 billion in social impact. So what this creates is really a massive opportunity for innovation because the way we live and travel is changing. The city itself launched in 2024 the Innovation Zone, which positioned Toronto as a test bed for smart mobility innovation. You're probably all familiar with the transportation innovation challenges. So these are challenge-based calls that are meant to spur innovation around Toronto's key transportation needs. This is things like Vision Zero, the Universal Accessibility, Transform TO. And so what do you think, and what do you think it takes for a college to run an applied research program in transportation? I dare say at the level we do it, where we not only help companies to innovate, but also train and educate our students to be socially responsible citizens. A few days ago, I was having an evening coffee with Shirina Hussein, and she said something in a slightly different context that I think really reflected very well on this. She said, you have to be a little bit like Wayne Gretzky. You have to see where the puck is going. You really have to understand where the industry is moving to and what its needs are. So Centennial is really the largest transportation and maintenance trainer in Canada. And through applied research, we serve as a technology resource center for companies that are innovating in the space. And we are indeed part of every transportation innovation initiative in the province. I will show you a short
Centennial innovates.
Centennial Innovates in Transportation.
Centennial Innovates is the Applied Research, Innovation and Entrepreneurship Department here at Centennial College in Toronto, and we are passionate about sustainable transportation research as one of our key innovation areas. In fact, we received $1.5 million from NSERC over 5 years to invest in research projects related to sustainable transportation, specifically on connected, autonomous, smart and electrified vehicle technology development.
Centennial's Applied Research Department is an innovation hub for development and testing of advanced automotive and manufacturing technologies, smart mobility solutions, and the integration into relevant software and hardware platforms. We leverage the cutting-edge facilities and equipment available at the School of Transportation. We give researchers and aspiring entrepreneurs the tools, expertise and resources they need to successfully bring their technologies into the real world. Whether it's connected vehicles, vehicle-to-vehicle, vehicle-to-everything communications, cybersecurity, cloud computing, artificial intelligence, sensory data fusion, as well as low-carbon mobility, electric powertrains, EV charging and batteries. Companies and organizations, even if they lack funding, can come to us to get access to government grants and execute their applied research projects at Centennial.
Centennial's innovation in transportation includes ensuring that as we transform towards these new technologies, we're not marginalizing vulnerable communities further. We are deeply engaged with industry partners to influence the transition to be more equitable.
Centennial College's School of Transportation is one of the largest training providers of maintenance and repair in the country, and by far the largest in Ontario. As the only GTA college that specializes in transportation programs, we cover it all, from small engines right up to all of the automotive trades, through to truck and coach and heavy equipment, and then right on up into aviation. Our very latest that we've added is electric light rail, the fastest growing mode of urban transit in the country.
We spent a great deal of time, money, resources, technical expertise building our electric vehicle program, both for automotive and for bus technicians. Employers in both the private and the public sector have been utilizing our training to help bridge that knowledge gap that technicians are now facing with regards to EV technology and the maintenance. Our department works closely with Canada Post, City of Toronto, City of Brampton, City of Mississauga, Durham Region, Canadian Tire, and these are just a few of the employers that we're working with.
We've expanded our fleet of vehicles to include several Toyota Prius Prime plug-in hybrids, as well as a full electric Ford F-150 Lightning and Chevrolet Bolt. We've also acquired a plethora of hybrid and electric vehicle batteries, including both nickel metal hydride and full electric vehicle lithium-ion options for training courses.
We're currently working with the Amalgamated Transit Union and the Toronto Transit Commission in a Bus of the Future project designed around creating a bus that is safer for driver, passengers and pedestrian, all while minimizing the impact on the environment.
Our students work directly with industry partners on real-world challenges to develop not only their technical skills, but professional skills as well. Centennial is the #1 college in Canada for providing paid student internships in applied research, and we see these internships as one of the most impactful ways to future-proof our students and give them hands-on experiential learning opportunities.
Through a partnership with York University, we have been granted the opportunity to build a regional technology demonstration site working with the Ontario Vehicle Innovation Network, or OVIN, to ensure that Ontario has a ready workforce for these emerging technologies with other major colleges and universities throughout the province of Ontario. We welcome you to come and collaborate with us and leverage the excellent innovation support and expertise available here at Centennial College.
Centennial Innovates in Transportation.
Centennial Innovates in Transportation.
Centennial innovates in transportation to help power our future.
Centennial innovates to prepare our students for career success.
Centennial innovates for a better world.
Centennial innovates for a better world.
Centennial innovates for a better world.
Great, I have to do a little bit of a slide switch. And so it is my great pleasure to welcome to today's session Dr. Paulina Karwowska-Desaulniers. So she's the Executive Director of SmartTO. SmartTO is a regional technology development site funded by OVIN. One of OVIN's main objectives is to support small and medium-sized enterprises, develop, test, and validate, and commercialize new automotive and mobility products and technologies, and cultivate the capacity of a province-wide network to drive future mobility solutions. As my guest, Paulina is one of the natural leaders and a team builder. But not only that, she's one of the people that I have seen that is dedicated to really committed to helping small and medium-sized enterprises advancing their technologies and really bridging that last gap through commercialization. Paulina holds a PhD in biological chemistry from Wayne State University and has a distinguished record of translating research into meaningful innovation. She has had leadership roles at York University, including Director of Research and Partnerships at the Lausanne School of Engineering. And at SmartTO, she drives strategic partnerships across the mobility ecosystem, supporting startups and SMEs to test and develop advanced automotive and mobility solutions. So, Paulina, welcome. Just let me know when to switch slides. I'm really happy to have you here, first for a short presentation on SmartTO, and after that for a short Q&A session.
Thank you. Thank you, Wenzi, and thank you to the Earth District for inviting me. It's really an honor to be here and be able to tell you our exciting journey that we've had so far in building a smart mobility hub called SmartTO. Next slide. And as Wenzi mentioned, we are part of the RTDS network under OVIN. And as it was already mentioned, OVIN, the Ontario Vehicle Innovation Network, is really the key arm of the OCI, Ontario government, to drive innovation in transportation. And what they have done is really cool because they essentially saw a need across the entire province for developing these sites that help companies. So they took a scan of the entire province and say, okay, where can we strategically put in these mobility hubs that then companies can come and get local help with advancing their technology. So if you look at the entire map, there's growing number of them. I don't know the current number. I think there's still some new ones that will be announced shortly, but there's definitely over 7 or 8 of these mobility hubs across the entire province. And all of them are helping SMEs and startups to advance their technology. And all of them have different strengths and different facilities that companies can come to and work with. And they all work together. That's a really cool part. It's this big network that really helps to support for innovation to stay in Ontario and in Canada. So if you haven't had a chance to work with any of them yet, or probably some of you guys are already part of it, have a look. It's really an incredible network of collaborating partners. So we are one of the lucky ones that have been able to get funding under this RTDS umbrella. And we are led by York University in great collaboration with Centennial College and a number of other partners. And it makes us unique in that sense because we are based at these academic institutions that give us the resources, state-of-the-art facilities and labs and expertise and students to be able to solve the challenges that the companies come to us. Next slide, please. And here's the portfolio of services that we offer to our clients. So we have 3 different streams. We have kind of the typical business stream that you'll find at every incubator and accelerator across the country. So we have programs that companies can join. They get curriculum, education, they get mentors, they get basically support to bring their product to market. Pretty standard, but we do tailor it towards transportation, which means that we'll get mentors that are specific in that sector, which means you'll get very customized help. And we do this specifically with Y-Space, which is the York University incubator. And we've built a number of these programs where we also have office space, and we help for companies to come and host their offices. And we have workshop and events that we host through that incubator. The second stream, I think, is the unique one that I want to mostly focus on today and give you a few examples. When we chat with Wenzi, it's our project stream. So this is the stream through which companies can come to us with a real technical issue that they either don't have the expertise, that they don't know how to solve, and we will do it for them. So it could be that they need to build the first prototype, or they need to test it, or they need to do feasibility studies, or they need a software. They need help at the technical level. They come to us, and through the Lausanne School of Engineering at York University and or through the School of Transportation at Centennial College, you've already heard wonderful things about, we find the experts in the team to basically solve that projects for them through this mini engagement. So we have funding that comes to us from Owen, and we basically are able to deliver the projects for those companies. And I'll give you some examples of the projects that we have done. And the last stream, it's really important for us not to work in silos. So we often work with many of the bigger industry partners to help leverage their resources, their testing facilities, their software to help our companies grow. And our goal is to work with not just the industry, but also the public sector. So you'll see that we work very closely with municipalities, with cities, to help them address their technical needs by including innovation in the pipeline and their planning. Next slide, please. So I already mentioned our unique unique value that we bring to this is that we have direct access to the expertise at both the university and the college. And this is a slide that shows you just a cross-section of the type of expertise that we have. And the wonderful video that Wenzi just shows gave you an insight into Centennial College that has a number of really awesome automotive design and testing labs. And they really have anything from a motorcycle to a bus that companies can come and test their technology on. At Lausanne School of Engineering, York University, we also have a number of key assets that can be accessed by companies. What we have actually, if you haven't been to York University, our main campus, it's essentially a small town. We have over 700,000 square meters of space. We have cities, we have roads, we have lights. The subway comes there, the buses come there, we have a power plant. And a lot of people come and commute and work there and live there. So it creates an excellent natural environment for testing technology. So we have done living lab experiments where companies can come to us and we help them test the feasibility and demonstrate their technology within that city environment. On top of that, we have a digital twin of our living campus. So not only can they do it in a physical manner, but they can virtually first do some planning, do some modeling, and see how their specific solution could potentially work under different scenarios. In addition to that, we have, obviously within the School of Engineering, we have all the engineering disciplines, but we have a mechanical engineering department that specializes in smart materials. So anything from making new materials, modeling, to basically analyzing and helping companies develop new products is available. And some of the other facilities that often get used are the 3D printing, microfabrication, and of course, electrification. This has been a big focus both for Owen and for SmartTO in the last 2 years, where we've had a lot of companies that we were able to help them bring their product in this area to the market, given the expertise we have there. Next slide. So I mentioned that that mainstream, the project stream, is really the unique offering that we have, and that we've been very successful in helping companies execute their projects with either Centennial or York University. So the way we structure these projects is that companies will come to us with a specific idea, project, or a product that needs to be tested. And we match them with the expertise of the university. And at that point, we often also bring a partner in. So this could be a partner that provides a software that's needed to execute the project. For example, Siemens has been a great partner with us, or it could be a testing facility for certification, for example. Or it could, in some cases, the partner is actually one of the cities or municipalities. So on the next slide, I'll show you the idea that in reality, if you want to, yeah, thank you, that in reality, the best way for us to solve transportation issues is to start with working from the beginning, from transportation issues that come from the cities or municipalities, like I mentioned. So that's another model that we've been also playing with, where the private sector is really the execution of the innovation, but the problem that they're solving comes from the public sector, and the academics, experts, and our students are the ones that solve the problem. Next slide. So here's an example. Over the last 2 years, we've helped over 42 clients. Here's a snapshot of some of the clients that we have helped. Some of them, as early as TRL 1 or 2, some of them already making revenue and have products in the market. So a huge range of the type of companies that we've worked with, from small to big, and also a huge range in the type of companies that we've helped. So, transportation has a very broad meaning for SmartTO. We don't limit ourselves to cars at all. We really look across the ecosystem for transportation issues that are broader in the smart mobility context. So on the next slide, I'll show you the type of projects that we've worked with, and that really shows you that we haven't really limited ourselves to just the transportation. We've done anything from renewable energy sources. We've worked a lot on robots. We've worked on sensors. We've looked at different applications to help move people faster, from smart parking to ride-sharing programs. We've really had in those 2 years, we've had a really good cross-section of what is in Ontario. I do have to mention we work with SmartTO works with Ontario companies only. They have to be incorporated in Ontario. But we've really gotten a good cross-section of really what are some of the problems that are really out there, and what problems are being addressed by our startup ecosystem. Next slide, please. Yeah, I think that's it. So I just wanted to give you a brief overview, but really I want to have a chance to chat with Wenzi and tell us some of the success stories that we have both worked on very, very hard over the last 2 years or so.
Thanks, Paulina. I've seen this presentation now, I think, so many times, and it still amazes me how much, the team has built over, a very, very short period of time. So, it looks really impressive. But, I think most of us will ask the first question: can you take us back at the very, very beginning? How did it all start, and what did your team look like?
That is a good question. I think it was already, I think we started thinking about this project about 3 years ago. So before we actually got to apply for the funding to open, that took another 6 or 8 months. But the planning started about 3 years ago, when I think some of us realized that there is this potential gap in the support ecosystem for companies, because there's so many incubators, accelerators across the GTA. There's like over 100 different one of them, and they're all awesome. There's really a good support for innovation in Canada, but none of them really had this in-depth technical support. So what we have found that many companies might have an idea, or they might have the initial prototype, but they need more technical know-how. They need facilities. They need people who can, not just a consultant online. They need somebody who can actually take their idea, their product, and help them improve it. So, it was a perfect match for what we had at the university and the college. So we got together and we started thinking, how can we bring our expertise, our efforts, and make this an actual model that works for working with academia. Obviously, academia and industry partnerships have been out there for a long time. This is not a new concept. Academia works with industry all the time, but this model at the incubator level, was helping companies so early on, was not as well explored. So when Owen had this funding opportunity under the RTDS network, Centennial College and York University came together to partner on this. And that's another thing I want to point out. I think we have a lot of colleges and some universities here on the call. I think it's very special, I think, when you can get two types of academic institutions to work together. And I couldn't be happier about our partnership with Centennial College. They really are true innovators, and they're very collaborative. So just want to encourage people, because I've been in this ecosystem in academia for, close to 20 years. Sometimes it's a little hard to bridge the two, right? Sometimes we do different in some ways between colleges and universities, but this partnership has really showed me that, if you get like-minded people across, you can really work well together. Yeah, so fast forward, we put an application together. Great proposal, but of course on paper, it's only on paper. The execution is what really matters. We got the funding, and then we were able to put a really awesome team together. And to me, it always comes down to the people. I created a really awesome team, which included, Wenzi, obviously from Centennial, but also I was able to work with some pretty amazing ladies. We were all female-led team. I have to stress that out. It was really awesome to be able to create that. But we recruited an excellent communication officer, Diana, who really, without her, that first, when you have something so new, you don't even have a website, you don't even have a brand, you don't know how to talk about who you are. So she was instrumental in taking us to the next step. And then, our team grew to we had a guru in finance who helped us navigate how do you do this between a government, university, and and college. Those things can be a little tricky. So we had Christina, who was awesome at helping us with that. And then we had Nikki, who was our BD and helped us. She really helped us build some of our key programs, like the Innovation Challenge that we ran. And I think I really have to give credit to the team that worked really hard once we got the funding to be able to go out there and start providing good programs to our clients once the money was established.
Yeah, great. I also consider this a very special relationship between a college and university. Even I came from the university sector, obviously, before I joined Centennial, and so even how colleges operate at the applied research level and how compatible that can be with the way more academic ways universities operate, I think it was quite a unique experience for me as well. And the team absolutely fantastic. So SmartTO sits at the intersection really of academia, industry, and the public sector. Paulina, how do you really structure those partnerships in practice? How do you identify the industry challenges, and how do you translate them into research or student projects or pilot initiatives? What makes this model that SmartTO has effective in aligning the academic expertise with the real world industry needs, and what value do the partners get out of it?
It's a
long
really
question.
Long question.
There's more 7 questions in one.
Yeah, I don't know if I can get to all of them, but it's we don't have anything, I think, unique that I can share. I think what we do have is, though, an understanding that partnerships are hard. Partnerships take time and trust, right? So I think if you come in with that understanding and you bring hard work to it, I think that can be helpful. The other thing I've learned over the years, academia industry partnerships are hard because they have such different expectations. They're different worlds. So one of the things that you have to do really well is to manage those expectations. Academia has a different cycle, right? We have different needs and timelines. Industry wants everything yesterday. So I think managing expectations and helping to project manage some of those timelines. So having excellent project managers that help keep everybody on track. And Wenzi, you are amazing at your team actually executing those projects on time. So you know exactly what I mean. It's a key to have the right team to support those partnerships, right? So that would be my first thing. It's pretty obvious, just building trust and work that takes time. How do we identify projects? So I think we do it kind of in three ways. The first one, I think because we were so new and we have so much expertise, the first one was we really didn't have to look too far. There were so many companies, once they realized they need us, we had to start doing waiting lists, right? What I didn't mention is that support the companies get from us is free. We don't take any equity. We don't require them to pay into these programs. So really the demand for our expertise has been really, really high. So the first way is really we just put our name out there. We started looking for what is possible. The second aspect of finding companies, we really wanted to be working on deep tech type of technologies, given that the experts we have at the university and college, they have students who want to be trained on problems that are challenging, right? They want to be challenged. They want to have things that they can then take with them to the workforce and apply as they apply for jobs. So basically looking for those more challenging problems that maybe take a little bit longer. They're not an overnight software type of solution. That was our second criteria. And then the third one, I would say, the mandate here at Ontario is electrification. So we did put some emphasis on that, as well as lightweighting. So electric cars are, definitely heavy. We were definitely inspired to find more companies that will basically help with the lightweighting of the electrical vehicles. So those are kind of the three different aspects that we took as far as looking for companies to work with. What was the rest of the question? Did I answer it?
Thank you.
Sorry, that was
what
a
do
long
usually
question.
the partners get out of this collaboration? Like, why would somebody want to partner with an RTDS?
Right. So I think it's pretty obvious why startups and SMEs are really interested in working with us. It is a very holistic approach that we took to the journey. So I have stressed out that, it's really important that we help them on the technical level, but we don't leave them at that. So when they come to work with us, we really open up the doors across the ecosystem. So the universities and colleges, we have capstone projects, we have co-ops, we have run hackathons, right? We essentially, we kind of see when we meet our clients, what do they really need? And just because we've done one project with them, we're not going to leave them. We want to be there holistically for their entire journey. And we work very closely with Oven. So I think it was mentioned that they have the number of pilot demo zones that they do. And in that sense, we can prepare them and help companies to pilot their projects with the city, for example. So our journey doesn't, start and end. We want to be there for the entire time. And I think the partners that we work with see that our goal is to open doors for them, to bring clients to their doors and to help them explore opportunities. And I think the hardest part, or one of the hardest things I've seen is kind of the adaptation of new technologies by these bigger companies. And we really want to be at the forefront of sort of making that easier. So if you have trust of a partner and you have a company you've worked with and you nurtured, that sort of transition and trust, then we can basically manage and help build that relationship. For that company to then, okay, let me take a risk and see how we could try and pilot this or adopt this technology in our new line or so on. So we see ourselves as sort of matchmakers, but also the ecosystem glue that helps companies across the ecosystem, and we help them integrate and we do what we do, kind of meet them where they are and help to find the right program. And it doesn't have to be our program, right? There's, like I said, we're part of this RTDS ecosystem. There's so many other incubators across and help that we definitely point them out in the right direction.
Yeah, exactly. I think the glue to the ecosystem is a term that I really, or comparison that I really like about that. So if you look back, are there any of the projects, I mean, we've had so many last year, but are there any that really stood out as particularly meaningful for you or impactful? What made them special? Was it really the technology or the innovation in the projects? Or was it the partnerships, or was it the student engagement, or that the technology is really very applicable to the real world?
It's probably a
What
little
was
bit
some of your faves? Yeah, I should shorten those questions, eh?
some of the favorite. Good questions. There's definitely, we've done so many innovative projects that it'll be very hard for me to pick, and I feel really bad by picking because I don't want to play favorites, but I will tell you about a couple that I think might be of interest to this crowd. But the thing that, for me really stands out, and I was new to the startup ecosystem. I've worked in the academic industry ecosystem for a long time, but not outside of it. What really stands out to me is really how passionate the founders are, and working with people who will put in such hard work to make their dreams and passion come to life. That has been sort of like the most exciting part, at least for me, to be able to see how people are really, really motivated to make a difference. And quite often that passion really comes from something really, really deep. So it could be something that happened to them when they were younger, family circumstances. They want to help in a way by using their technology innovation to help with a real, a really impactful issue that they've encountered. So that's been really moving for me, I think, by being able to get to know some of these founders. One cool example of a technology that maybe some people working on sustainability here can relate to. It's we worked on a project. The concept is a 15-minute community. So this is something that I think in urban planning is getting quite a lot of traction across the world. It's the idea that all your essential services would be accessible within 15 minutes, but not your typical commute, a 15-minute bike ride, walk, or public transport, not driving. So these pockets or neighborhoods are called 15-minute communities. And this has been getting traction across the world. When you look at it, there's, Europe obviously has quite a few, but Paris, Barcelona have them. There's some in Asia as well, and China. So many countries are kind of experimenting with this concept, and I think it's because there's obvious benefits, right? For those of you who live in Toronto and get stuck in the congested traffic, it's how much better your life would be if it didn't have to take so long, right? So this is a concept that would improve, like Wenzi said, the quality of life in every aspect if we can just improve our transportation. So this concept here in Toronto has had a little bit of traction, but we came across a company called Traf Mobility, and they're essentially a consulting company that works with governments or different organizations, cities, to help them make database decisions. And they were interested in this, developing a tool to help plan for these 15-minute communities. So we had one of their co-founders, Tavia Chow, came to us with this idea, how to build an actual planning tool that cities can then plug in their data, plug in all their, criteria and infrastructure, and the tool will tell them, okay, how close are you to this being designated a 15-minute community? What else could you potentially do? So luckily at the Lausanne School of Engineering, at our civil engineering department, we have experts who not only love this idea, but, just couldn't wait to work on it. So we've had one of our professors, Professor Mehdi Narajandan, who was really excited to take this on. So his research team, his master and PhD students worked on this for around 3 months, I think. And at the end, through the funding we had through that ATP, the different ATP that are the ATP program. They developed this like a Python playbook that cities can, specifically for one specific for Toronto, that they can actually use to plug in their data and see how this tool can help them plan. So that was one of my, I think, favorite project. We increased their TRL level. It's still in the prototype phase, but hopefully this will be something that you can see how the public sector can also be engaged in our project. So really love this one. Another one, because I've talked so much about electrification. This one's yours, Wenzi, but I'll start talking about it. You can add because you've worked with them very closely. So this is a company called Kiwi Charge. And I wanted to mention them specifically because I think as Canada, we're getting ready for a wave of EVs coming. And, you know, there's still some barriers to EV adaptation, including charging. So the EV charging is really a growing success in Canada. They have, what they've done, they've built an autonomous mobile robot that charges your car when you're not there. So think of a mall, think of high-rise buildings, condominiums, parking lots. It's hard finding the charger, right? Or then you have to move your car, and it's just like it's not, the system is not quite ready at that level. So their robot will go and charge your car, and then it will go and charge another car, and you don't really have to kind of worry about it. So it's a super exciting technology, and Centennial built their first prototype. Like when I met them, they only had things on paper a couple of years ago, and now they're going to be exhibiting their second MVP at the Toronto Auto Show in February. So if you're attending, please go see them. They're really awesome, passionate people. But that was a project you guys did, Wenzi. So really, really exciting. And there's so many more. Maybe Wenzi, you can talk about one of the examples, your favorite one, because like I said, it was a collaboration. So some projects were done here, some projects went down there. So why don't you give us an example?
Yeah, I love them all. I think last year we probably had 25 or 27. I can't even remember anymore. But the Ontario Innovation System, and Oven definitely plays a big role in it, is very, very strong. So you have these brilliant ideas, and a lot of the companies that we work with have their own IP already, and so this provides just additional strength to whatever their technology is. Some of my favorite ones were the ones that I see as not only applicable to transportation and mobility, but potentially also expanding into other fields. Wireless PNC, for example, have a system with their own IP that provides wireless charging. This is applicable beyond the initial prototype for, wirelessly charging scooters and mobility devices. So this is something that's really exciting, and I can't wait to see where they bring their technology next. There are some other ones that I really loved. I want to shout out to Optimus AI for their solar-powered EV ice cream refrigeration tricycle. It's an e-trike, completely green. It just provides a new way for food vendors to serve or to get access to smaller pockets of communities, or just enhance the consumer experience by buying an ice cream from a completely green tricycle. By the way, if you want to rent the tricycle, I have it here at Centennial, so give me a call. The other one that I really liked, and I think this is quite revolutionary as well, is from Quantuity AI. So this is an AI-powered brake sensor that was, a lot of the work was done at the School of Transportation and really leveraged the experience that faculty has at the school. So this one is an exciting one. Again,
Mark
applications.
Is on the call, Wenzi, the founder.
Oh,
Mark,
he did
Mark,
not
are you on
pay
the
me
call?
for this, but
yes, I'm here.
We love your
that was
project.
exciting.
Thank you. Thank you. I just want to plug that we really couldn't have gotten this far without the collaboration of Centennial College and the School of Transportation at the Aries Research Center. Thanks to the SmartTO program, we were able to get our app that connects to our sensors completed with one of the students there. And we were also able to get our sensor completely tested, validated, along with a follow-up research report of its functional requirements. So we're really and truly, we couldn't have gotten it this far without Centennial and SmartTO. Thank you.
Thanks, Mark. Thanks for attending. We didn't know you're going to be here.
Thanks, Mark. Really appreciate it. Also some exciting news. Mark was one of the companies that was shortlisted to pitch for TTC at the Owen event a few days ago. So this was also quite heartwarming to see something coming out of SmartTO, going that far to be shortlisted for that. And just simply shows you how much you can expand on those technologies. So it's not really about trucks or cars, but it can be applicable to public transit vehicles as well. So yeah, super exciting. I will now go on to our next question. And so Paulina, SmartTO, notably, you can't miss it in all pictures, is all female led. So does female leadership shape the culture, priorities, or approach of SmartTO? And what lessons or insights can you share about supporting women in leadership roles within innovation, research, and industry academia collaborations?
Yes, as I mentioned already, we've been very lucky to have all female-led team. Although I do want to acknowledge the support from your dean, Associate Dean Jonathan Hack, and from my VP as well, Amira Seif. There's been great support from our founder organizations. But yeah, it was all female-led. And to be honest, I've been in engineering and science all my life, and it shouldn't surprise you that there's still gender disparity in the ecosystem. But I have to say, when I first started attending some of the automotive type of summits and events, it still shocked me that sometimes I was one of the 10%, 15% of women in the room, and the panel would have like no female representation or one, or the diversity wasn't there. So, and this is just 2 years ago. So this ecosystem, the sector, the automotive sector, still has a lot of work to do to attract more female founders, to make this culture and space more accessible and more inclusive. And I think, that was one of the values we started with, is to make sure that whatever is within our control, we're not going to change the system overnight, but whatever is within your control, that you put that lens on your work. So whether it's programming, whether it's that next event you do, whether it's the outreach that you do, if you really put that as one of your key priorities, that you are going to support women, it will slowly start making a change. So that's what we've done. Whatever event we've had, we made sure that we have good representation. We made sure that we have female mentors, female advisors, and then we went out there and looked for the female founders. Of course, that's not going to increase the numbers in the field. Those are systemic issues that are being addressed, but it definitely helps. As I mentioned, we're part of Y-Space, which is the York University incubator, and they've been doing this for years. They have this program called Ella, and it's specifically for female-led entrepreneurs, where programming has been designed to help them. So what we've done is, many of our female founders would, do our programming, but they would get support from that accelerator program or incubator program as well. So that has been like super important for us, and I think it's something that we're going to continue to do. And slowly, I think the needle will hopefully change, right? So if you go with the right attitude, I think it can be very, very helpful. And we have two like-minded institutions in this, and we're very much aligned on this. So I only see good things coming forward as we continue to do this together.
Great. So what's next then for SmartTO? What excites you in the years to come?
Good question. So we've been super lucky to get more funding, but I can't say anything else. I don't see the government. I don't know if the government's on the call yet. I can't say anything. So, but we are going to continue. So our funding did end. So we've been a little bit of a holding pattern, but we have funding for going forward. So really, I think we're going to obviously continue all the great work that we've done, but there's kind of like 3 things I wanted to mention. We are definitely going to enhance our work on working on public transportation issues. Our ties to the region, York region, are going to be much tighter, and we're going to work on real public transportation issues, whether through innovation challenges, whether through actual problems that come to us from the companies and the different units within the region. Our goal is really going to be to kind of focus on those. The second thing, I've always been very passionate about accessibility, and transportation is a perfect vehicle for this. It has to be made for everybody or it's not accessible. So our goal really is to have a bigger outreach in that area, partner with some of the key institutions and accelerators that are already doing a great job, and make sure that it goes across our technology and our program. So I'm super excited that we're going to be doing more of this. And then the last one, really, we've started a little bit of this, but since I have so many academics here, we really want to have a bigger push on driving academic innovation out of the lab into the society. So I know it's not always the priority when you have your goal is to publish and train your students, and they'll go out there and do the great job that they do. But we really want to capture those innovations that happen in the lab and help incubate them before they're published, or before they get forgotten. So our goal is really to focus on academic startups and help you bring those to the market. So we going to have special programming, because it is a little bit different, right? The journey that you need to support the grad students or the researchers. So that's kind of the third pillar that I think is going to be super excited for us to work on. So yeah, I think from that perspective, yeah, we're gonna roll out some awesome innovation challenges in the near future. So have a look at our website. And my ask would be for anybody here, if you're interested in working with us, if you have an idea that you want to ideate with us, you want to get some support, or maybe you think you could be a good mentor, or you could help in any way, just reach out. Let's have a conversation and see if there's a way for us to collaborate together.
Yeah, thank you. Always a pleasure to have you. Really, really great work. I can't believe how much SmartTO did in the short period of time. So really, thank you for that. I think it was great to have you here, and thank you, Earth District, for this. Thank you for all the attendees for joining us today. I actually had the opportunity to take a look, and I'm really happy to find quite a few of the companies that we worked with attending, some of our research students, academic partners. Shout out to my team, Sandra Munoz, Javier Corredor, Eric Oliveira. Thank you, guys. You are really at the moving parts of all the projects that were done. Shout out to Paulina's team, Nikki, Diana, Christina. Did I miss anybody, Paulina? No, I don't think so. Co-op students. So huge thank you to all attendees for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed the session and were able to gain valuable insights to apply back to your roles and networks. Our next session will be March 24th and will be led by Trent University, and will focus on dissolved organic matter. Please see the link in the chat for more information and how to register. If you would like to view all the sessions in our speaker series, you can find them listed on our website under events. There will be more events added soon, and we encourage attendance to continue networking across the Earth District and support this collaborative initiative. So again, thank you all for attending today. I think this concludes our speaker series today. Paulina, again, thanks a million for finding the time to spend an hour with us. Nancy, unless you guys have anything else, I think that will be the end.
Just want to say thank you for inviting me. It's been really an honor to talk to everybody, and look forward to collaborating. Thank you.